Namaste everyone. For today's short tutorial, you might need 2 blocks and stay close to the wall. We will work on correcting the common mistakes while practicing Chakrasana. Okay, so let's check the ankle is in line with the knees and hips. I am lying down on my back. Fingertips are pointing towards my shoulder. Elbows coming closer to my face. Okay, so this is a first common mistake after lifting the hip up. In order to lift the head off the floor, you will see most of the people will move the elbows outward. That will make you lose strength from the shoulder. Instead, if you close the elbows in, grab the floor with your palms and finger and quickly shift crown of the head on the floor. Okay, so you're not lifting all the way up, you just lift up just a bit and shift crown of the head on the floor. Keep closing the elbows in, that will help you maintain the strength on the shoulder, and keep the action to lift up to the ceiling. Even if you can't lift up, just keep the action of moving upward instead of sinking the head down. Second mistake is turning the toes out to the side wall. That might feel easy to lift up, but that will break your knees. That's not a very healthy practice for the kneecaps. So make sure your middle toes are pointing to the front wall. Thighs are rolled inward, and then we keep pushing the floor. Third mistake is to shift weight to the feet, and your posture will look like this. Instead, we want to lean forward on the hands and then keep the action of pushing the floor away from the body. So I'm pushing the floor, shifting weight on the hands instead of keeping it on the feet. Checking no stress on the shoulder, on the neck, and then try coming out of the posture same way. So the crown of the head down, back of the head down, and then releasing the hips. Catching the breath here, make few longer exhalation. And also it's very important to straighten the spine after deeper backward bend. So we can practice Pavan Muktasana like this with both the knees on the chest, and maybe do a little rolling side to side, or practice child's pose so that we maintain the natural curvature of the spine. Fourth mistake is to jump into Chakrasana without preparing your back and your legs, especially your thighs. Dhanurasana is a very good preparatory position to lift up into Chakrasana. So I'm holding my feet from outside, lifting the chest up. And here, if you have difficulty lifting thighs off the floor, which means you are not ready to practice Chakrasana yet. If you are not able to lift thighs off the floor in this position, I would suggest you to practice Dhanurasana and other backward bend position on a daily basis. I have detailed video on how to prepare for Chakrasana with preparatory poses on my channel. I'll put the link in the description box below. The second very important preparatory posture is Ushtrasana. So I'm coming on my knees, hands on the lower back. I'm lifting chin, lifting chest, and then pushing the hips forward. Now, if you are able to just stick to the halfway camel position, Ushtrasana, again, you are not ready to practice Chakrasana yet. If you are able to drop the hands down on the heel, but you have difficulty breathing into this position, then again you are not ready for Chakrasana. So I'll suggest you to practice this position and hold it for at least 5 breaths. Practice 3 to 4 times on a daily basis. Chest reaching upward, hips moving forward, and then coming out of the posture same way. Most of the injuries will happen when we don't come out of the pose properly. So we are sitting up straight, catching the breath here. And if Ushtrasana was easy for you, but if you are still not able to lift up in Chakrasana, then the next posture is for you. So I'm staying about just 1 inch away from the wall, knees apart. You can keep the toes tucked in or point the toes back. Stretching arms up, I'm pushing the hips backward. Lift chin, fingertips on the wall, searching the wall with the fingertips first. Try walking hands down as much as possible. Keep pushing hips backward and then keep moving chest forward. So I'm increasing my backward bend, and by pushing chest forward, I'm working on strengthening my shoulders as well as making them flexible. If you can push the wall, we want to try going close to the wall first. Bend the elbows just how we do in Chakrasana, and then push the wall, move chest forward. Go close to the wall, elbows bend. Go away from the wall, elbows are straight. Try that few more times. Keep pushing the hips backward and stretching arms up to come out of the pose, always reversing. Hips on the heel, sitting straight and catching the breath. This posture is a best way to get the idea on how to lift up in your Chakrasana position. So if you get this one right, most likely you will be ready to lift the body in Chakrasana. If you have very tight shoulder, I would suggest you to practice with the blocks like this. So keep the distance of 2 hands between the block. You can keep blocks like this. If it stays, make sure the blocks are not moving, or you can just keep it down on the floor like this. Okay, so I am keeping my head in between the 2 blocks, fingers pointing to the shoulder, and with my fingers, I'm grabbing the block. Raising hips up, quickly shift crown of the head down, and you can again stay here. Lifting up will feel easy most likely here because you are already elevated with the block. Keep raising hips up to the ceiling, avoid sinking hip down, and then see if you can lift the body all the way up. Try straightening the elbow. Raising hip again is very important because otherwise it'll make your upper body heavier. If you can lift up, try going close to the wall with the chest and move away from the chest. Going close to the wall and moving away. Try that few more times. Again, that'll help you to strengthen the shoulder, and as well as it'll make your shoulders very flexible. Coming out of the posture, same way. Bring knees together, straightening the spine. Nobody talks about how important the thigh strength is in Chakrasana. So Your standing positions, your Dhanurasana, and other backward bending preparatory position will also make your thighs stronger. And after lifting up in Chakrasana, holding the pose will become easier. So let's take a little twisting position here to release the spine. Knees on the right side and then knees on the left side. Relaxing the breath, relaxing the shoulder. And the last mistake that I want to point out is, if you believe this is a very difficult pose, that's what you will see it on the mat. Instead, if you think I'm working on the pose and pose will happen very soon, and that's what you will see it happening. So it's a little bit of mental affirmation, trust in you, and a daily practice will help you achieve this pose. Remember to relax in Shavasana after your practice. Remember not to feel frustrated or get obsessed with any yoga position, because that's what you will practice off the mat also. Okay, I hope you found the tips helpful. I'll see you in the next one. You take care.